the final days of the first assault on Narva in October of 1944, the battle actually shifted away from the city, where Axis forces moved their attention to a different objective. Just north of the city lay a small yet strategically important town called Silame, commonly known to Axis forces as Fort Cockhold. The village was never meant to be more than a staging area for the assault, but the Soviet forces started an intense counteroffensive to push the Axis forces away from the city. However, they first needed to take Cockhold. The first attacks were carried out by light infantry, but they were turned back. The Axis High Command noticed Cockhold's importance and sent all available resources to the small town to hold it. The Soviets, still hoping for a quick victory, sent in more infantry, as well as elite units led by the infamous General Major Private Bickle. The Axis still managed to hold the town, as more reinforcements were sent in, as well as constant air cover from the Luftwaffe. Finally, the Soviet High Command realized it had to do something, and sent in everything it had. T-34s, aircraft, and infantry, as well as a naval strike and amphibious landing on the beach nearby. Everything was sent in to take the fort. Ultimately, the fort held, and there were still few casualties on the Axis side. In early November, an intense bombing raid was carried out which crippled the supply lines and tore down the city. Finally, after almost 2 weeks of fighting, a bad weather front meant that the Germans could not protect Cockhold from the sky, and ultimately the city was bombed into rubble and was no longer deemed practical to defend by the Axis High Command. While technically a Soviet victory, they suffered heavy losses, while the Germans had managed to lose about half of what the Soviets lost.